We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. The world wants to know, did Keyshawn Davis and DB3 just end their career? What a horrible week for DB3, which include Keyshawn Davis, Kelvin Davis, and Keon Davis. When disaster strikes. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know and let you know why the streets are talking. And you always got to keep your ear to the streets in this boxing game and let you know why the streets are saying it could very well be over for the Davis brothers, aka DB3. Now, you heard the clip at the beginning. Let's get unpacked. The beginning, it depicted Nahir Albright. Let me give you guys the backstory. Keyshawn Davis, when he was at 135, he said he's moving up now. When he's at 135, a couple fights ago, he fought Nahir Albright. In that fight, he got clipped, and it was a very competitive fight, and Keyshawn Davis did not look good. I remember, because Keyshawn's an Olympian, silver medalist, so he's had a buzz from the amateurs. People were waiting for him to turn pro, if you will, right? Kind of like Shakur Stevenson and any other highly touted Olympian. So people were checking for Keyshawn Davis because he represented us in the U.S. Olympics, right? And he lost to Andy Cruz, who he rarely mentions, but that's a whole nother story. Anywho, he ended up fighting in 2023, so a couple years ago, Nahir Albright, who was 16-2 record, 2 losses. He didn't look good. The fight got changed to a no contest, no decision because they fought in Texas, where I guess marijuana is not legalized or whatever, so it's against the rules, and that counted as a popping on the testing, right? So the fight was initially a victory for Keyshawn. Now, if you look at his box rec, it is a no contest, no decision. Fast forward to the future. So that's their history in a nutshell. Those are the cliff notes. Fast forward to the future. Keyshawn was supposed to headline a card with Edwin De Los Santos, who fought Shakur Stevenson in his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia, right? His brothers, Keon and Kelvin, were also on the card. So you have the totality of DB3. 3 brothers, 3 fighters, all on the same card in Virginia, where they're from. Keyshawn Davis comes in overweight, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I've already done content when it happened. This is why you guys got to subscribe. I've already talked about it. Missing weight is unprofessional. What I believe happened is this. I think that Keyshawn Davis tried to pull a Ryan Garcia, basically. He thought he needed an advantage and an extra edge, even though he already had a ton of advantages. Hometown hero, you're bringing him to your hometown to fight, so you have the home court advantage. You're younger, your reach is longer, your height, you're taller than him. He was dealing with health issues. He hadn't fought in like almost 2 years, 18 months, right? So you already had plenty of advantages, just given the fact that he's coming off of a long layoff, health issues and whatnot, right? Given the fact that he's fighting in your hometown, that wasn't good enough. So I think Keyshawn Davis intentionally missed weight because, one, I guess he knew he's moving up to 140. His body is rejecting the idea of moving to 135. But what you don't do is, for your last fight, if you know that, one, if you absolutely can't make the weight, then why not tell your promoter that, hey, I'm moving up to 140. Can we make this at 140? See if your opponent, Edwin De Los Santos, would bite. We've seen that happen before. Pitbull Cruz moved up to fight Rolly at 140. El Rayo moved from 35 to 40 to fight, right, against Pitbull Cruz. So that's not out of the question. So many missteps, and I got to give you guys a brief timeline. So many missteps from Keyshawn Davis, right? You could have initially staged a fight at 140 if you struggle that much to make 135. That's one option. Option A, we'll call it. Option B, close to the fight, but not the week of the fight. You could be like, man, I can't get this weight off of me, and it's a problem. And then you could reach out to Edwin De Los Santos and the promoter to try to amend the contract and say, hey, he's not going to be able to make this weight. Adrian Broner, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a lot of fighters have done this. Ryan Garcia with Devin Haney, a lot of fighters have done this at some point. So you could have been like, hey, I'm not on target to make weight, and this is not going to work. So try to amend the contract, see if you can get a signature, find out what the penalties are or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So Edwin De Los Santos can stop trying to do a weight cut, right, that you're not doing, and that is not going to work. You know what I mean? Why should he be the only one dehydrating himself off a 2-year layoff and a loss, right? And he's the one sucking down in weight. Who knows what he was weighing in his offseason dealing with them health issues. His face looked all gaunt and gas. He looked ghastly, right? But you intentionally wanted him to drain while you didn't even attempt to make weight. I know that Keyshawn said, oh, I tried to make the weight, but I just couldn't. We know when someone's trying because you see the struggle face. Their cheekbones be sunk in and they just hit the wrong number on the scale. Keyshawn was dancing. He was having fun. Like he was like, on the scale, like he didn't care. To this day, as of me recording the video, he still hasn't apologized for it. I've not seen one thing from Keyshawn Davis where he took to his social media and said, hey, I'm sorry. I let everybody in my hometown down. And they told us on the telecast, because the main event got canceled, Edwin De Los Santos and his team, Samson, bravo. Please, in boxing, that needs to be the new precedence. If fighters are playing around, ruin the whole event. Now, me saying it, some people will be like, hey, I thought you were a boxing fan. I am. That's exactly why, if you're a real boxing fan, you should want a fair one and a fair fight, right? Not people doing non-disciplined things, unsure of themselves, so they're jockeying for these weird advantages and stuff like that. A true boxing fan wants to see the best versus the best. They want to see a compelling fight, and they want to see, if it's two guys, both guys at their best, and then they square up. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see a fixed fight. Nobody wants to see a fight where a person is coming off a major vulnerability. So yeah, I didn't like that. And I think they were trying to set up Edwin De Los Santos. So in the event that if Keyshawn can impressively beat or stop Edwin De Los Santos, they would be able to bill it like, hey, Shakur Stevenson's a top guy, and he couldn't even do this to Edwin De Los Santos. So I'm proud of Edwin's team for pulling out. And I heard they got paid their full purse, which is excellent. All you had to do is make weight, jump on the scale. For not even fighting, you get your whole purse. Well done. Well played, right? Well played. But that's the reality of it. These fighters are basically trying to find covert ways of cheating and like sabotaging to get advantages. That's corny, right? So Edwin pulled out, the fight got canceled, and that was that. So huge disappointment. And I have to recap these things for my new audience members, right? So you can see how much of a failure this week was. So Keyshawn missed weight, got his fight canceled. Again, for me, I believe personally that Keyshawn thought it was sweet and that he could just do whatever he wanted, come in, miss weight, be unprofessional, and smooth it over. and get Edwin to still make the fight. Cause he even said that. He said, I'm moving up anyway. I try to make the weight. Oh, well, you know, that was kind of his attitude. Very cavalier, very nonchalant. And he said, nah, we still fight. We'll still fight. And then he got the surprise of a lifetime. You're out of a paycheck because I don't see why Top Rank would pay you. You the one that ruined their whole event and cost them to lose money. They got to pay Edwin De Los Santos. They said on the telecast, they gave mad refunds. Over 2,000 tickets were refunded. They didn't want to see your brothers like that. They were down to see the trio, but you were the star. So Keyshawn already dropped the ball in a major way by missing weight, getting the event canceled, mass amounts of refunds when it was supposed to be a popping crowd. Your last one with Gustavo Lemos, the crowd looked lit. But if the star of the show is not there, it changes everything. And some people, they're like, nah, I'd rather have a refund. I want to see a good fight with you and Edwin. So Keyshawn already messed up there, missed weight, got the event canceled, right? The next day at the fights, he's on camera eating popcorn. It's probably why he missed weight, eating that Orville Redenbacher and movie theater butter, right? So you miss weight, you still show up to support your brothers. Cool, no problem there. And your event got canceled. Again, as of me recording the video, I have not seen an apology, like an Instagram post where Keyshawn Davis is like, I'm sorry for letting people down for my conduct, blah, 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 right? Anyway, you're at the fight. Let's get to his brother fighting. One brother did good, Keon, he got a knockout, cool. Let's go to the other brother. Kelvin Davis, from very early in the fight, former Keyshawn opponent, Nahir Albright, was on Kelvin's ass. In my opinion, Kelvin did not look great in the fight. He looked tall and big for nothing. Let me explain. I've been doing this over 13 years. I'm him when it comes to boxing talk, right? The best in the business, and it's not even close. You see this Michael Jackson shirt? That's what I am in boxing. The king of pop. Jamal! Right? Right? So, Kelvin was big for nothing. That's what we call it out here in the Bay. Big for nothing. You got this Paul Williams height. You're probably crunching down crazy to make this, to make this weight class. This guy is coming up, Albright, he's coming off a long layoff. He's coming off of, I believe, a loss, and he's moving up in weight. So, and he's fighting you in your hometown. Everything against him, just like Edwin De Los Santos, right? Now you're starting to see how bad this is for the Davis brothers, right? Edwin, Keyshawn was trying to do all this stuff to have max advantage. Kelvin is fighting this guy off of a long layoff, just like Edwin De Los Santos, off of a loss, just like Edwin De Los Santos, right? We don't know what would have happened in Keyshawn's fight, so we'll stay focused on Kelvin versus Nahir Albright. But from early rounds, Albright was on his tail, and he was putting belt to, and he was landing forceful punches. The reason I say big for nothing is because Kelvin is tall, but he was crouching down, making himself smaller against a shorter fighter, which gives a shorter fighter advantages. Like if you're Mike Tyson and you have a compact style fighting guys who are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and you're doing the movement and you're mixing up your punches, good punch variation, that could be very problematic for taller people. So it doesn't benefit you as a tall fighter more often than not to give up the inside against a shorter fighter who's kind of aggressive, shorter arms, and willing to gunsling a bit, right? And that's exactly what was happening. You're trying to trade with this dude. The fastest point from A to B is a straight line. And if your arms are shorter and more compact, you could probably get that off. Like if you hook with a hooker, you could get your hook off because you have smaller arms. And if you shorten up the hook, ha, before the other person can get you, right? This is just common sense with boxing. So bottom line, Kelvin did not look good in this fight. He gave up his height. He was dropping his hands low. He was getting blasted to the point where his head was rocking back. In round 4, he was hurt. He was hurt, y'all. He was hurt bad. Not once, but at least twice, right? We're talking about hurt bad. And he was making egregious mistakes. Like, he looked real rookie to me, right? Very inexperienced. For example, in round 4, Albright is the shorter person who was doing very good. And in round 4, you had Kelvin, the taller fighter, like, and we're talking about he's pretty tall for the division, right? Like, he'd be taller than 9 out of 10 fighters not named Kelvin Davis, right? That's what I'm saying by tall. Like, he's probably the tallest, one of the tallest people at 140, right? He swung wild, put himself out of position. He's in no man's land right now, right? He swung from a distance he couldn't clear, right? And he swung, and then his hands were low, and there were times where he's putting his chin in the air, and he's just in no man's land. First of all, you're out of range as a tall guy. You can't clear this amount of space, right? So you would have to encroach and get closer to the point where you can make that connection and get your shots off. He was like from too far out, swing again. Now he's in no man's land. All this is exposed because his hands were low. And then the shorter Albright would be like, bow, 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 and hit him with a 2-piece. His head rocking back, he clinching and holding. I believe the ref at one point in this fight even warned Kelvin about holding, like, yo, you're doing too much. You don't make me take a point now, right? So this was a nightmare of a fight for Kelvin, right? And I got to give you all the backstory. Nightmare of a fight for Kelvin. Hurt badly. You know, he was trying to war back. He was even late in the fight, round 10, I want to say, he was getting popped, head rocking back, and hands were dropped low. It was just, it wasn't an impressive performance by any stretch, right? Tell me why Kelvin lost. I think one of the scorecards was horrible, but whatever. The right man won. They gave it to the right person. Well, I thought they might rob him. Nahir Albright, they gave it to him. Cool. The right person won. He's happy. He's celebrating. He just went to somebody's hometown, did the dang thing, and, you know, got a win off one of the Davis brothers at their show. So right now, you can see the L's are collecting for the Davis brothers. One brother loses on the same card his brother got pretty much punted from because he couldn't make weight, and everybody is mad because they were looking forward to the fight. A bunch of refunds on the tickets, as I mentioned earlier, et cetera, et cetera. Then the brother loses, and you would think that, hey, man, this has been a horrific week for the Davis brothers, DB3. So we should chill out and regroup and strategize and come back stronger. We should minimize our L's. Yeah, that would be a good idea right about now. We've been collecting L's like Pokemon. Catch them all. So we should chill a bit so we don't incur any more L's. We don't want any more L's. I was waiting for it to go into focus. So you would think most people would be like, man, back to back, this is a bad week for me. Let's chill. They self-inflicted and cheddar bobbed themselves, went to Nahir Albright's dressing room and confronted him, and then an altercation ensued, and Keyshawn headbutted Albright, and Albright now has a knot on his head. Bro, this behavior cannot be tolerated in the sport of boxing. This is absolutely pathetic. If you co-sign anything like this, you should hit the unsubscribe button, We don't have nothing in common. We'll never have anything in common. And you a sucker to me, bro. The man won fair and square. Fair and square. I'm not saying there's ever maybe a reason to get in a scuffle post-fight, but I would imagine if for some reason a scuffle were to happen, maybe if the person did something wrong, like they cheated, like if your brother got cheated, you know what I mean? Something, it would have to be something like that, right? Not like a man winning fair and square under boxing rules. He didn't foul and he just whooped your brother. He just whooped him. Like he didn't do anything wrong. He came to your turf. You as a gentleman's sport, you should look at that and really be marveled that like, hey, he lost to one brother, Keyshawn, even though it got switched to a no contest, no decision. He was bold enough to fight the taller, older brother in his backyard and catch the fade and run the fade. And I didn't even see him violate, post fight. He wasn't like taunting them or adding insult to injury. Bro, the Davis brothers just showed you who they are. Very emotionally damaged or whatever they got going on. But this was an absurd and reprehensible act to jump on the man. Like, first of all, I feel like anybody who don't want to run the solo squabble, you don't just want to fade out with somebody, that's weak. Jumping somebody is weak. I'm never going to celebrate somebody who has to jump another person. Like, if you had an issue, you could have approached that person dolo. You know what I mean? But y'all both go back to his locker room. And Albright said, I was in my locker room chilling. They must have heard the celebrations, heard that we were happy, and they just came in effing with us. And he headbutted me and I got pushed, a little tussle, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we can't accept this in boxing. This is really sad. Like, as if the L's weren't enough for the Davis brothers. This is pathetic, man. I really mean that. I really mean that. Like, poor sportsmanship and not knowing how to lose. Like, you have maturity issues, bro. Maturity issues. And you didn't even lose. Your brother lost. I don't imagine that would be fun to watch, but it's boxing. It happens. You know what I mean? But to react like that and jump on a man, I wouldn't be surprised if more unfolds with this, right? More unfolds with this. Like, charges are pressed, the commission gets involved. They got this on tape, or portions of it on tape, right? Of these altercations. I'm sure they can pull tape, CCTV or whatever they got in the venue to get more angles of it and whatnot. So watch this space. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch this space, because I don't think we've heard the whole story. Like, I think there'll be more to that, man. And I really think there should be. The commission should get involved, a ban of a period of time, a suspension, some kind of fine. Hit him where it hurts. Just to like, I don't really care about money, but a lot of people do. Like, I care about money in terms of I have to finance my lifestyle, and it's a tool. But I'm not ruled by money like some people, right? But a lot of people are. So that's why I believe you got to take something. Sometimes you got to take to really set a precedence and let people know, because people act a fool. And then when you start hitting them in that pocketbook, with a lawsuit, or you got some kind of penalty from the commission, some fine you got to pay to Albright in the commission, you're going to learn. And what's also disrespectful is you're doing this to your own people, like your own hometown crowd. Some of them got refunds because the show got compromised. Some decided to stay. And then your brother puts up a flat, horrible performance. One of them does. You get kicked off the card. Then you get ejected out the venue, escorted out by the police which is what people are saying. And this is how you repay your crowd. And imagine Top Rank. Top Rank look bad. It's not that they did something directly, but just because it's like a child and a parent. You know what I mean? If a child is acting ridiculous in the store, you're going to start looking towards the parent. Like, this is how you people get down. This is how you taught it. You know what I mean? So it still reflects poorly on you. It's your show. It's Top Rank show. So, A, we promised the main event, couldn't deliver. We got altercations in the back. Like, you got to look at it logistically. Why was Nahir Albright's locker room next to Keyshawn Davis's locker room? You don't have no security. Like, I've been to fights. I've been in the back tunnels and all that. I've been in fighters' locker rooms after fights. They be having security at the door, brolic and posted, like, no, nobody comes in. You even seen it recently in the UK for Chris Eubank Jr. for his fight with Conor Benn. Billy Joe Saunders was trying to get to the back. Dude was at the door posted, like, you're not getting in. I promise you that. You're not coming in here. You know? So I've seen that before, during, and after the fight. So heightened security, anything. This makes the promotion look bad. Obviously, it makes the brand, the Keyshawn, Kelvin, and Keon DB3 brand. It makes people not even, you got to be likable. I understand trash talk and branding yourself, and I see how some of these streamers do, but this ain't it. This don't make people respect you. Boxing, people, you could lose in boxing and people will still respect the loser if you fight right, if you perform right, right? Oh man, that guy got heart. Like, you know, Caleb Plant or somebody. People respect, like, okay, he at least coming with heart, you know what I mean? And he not gonna give up and quit. So people respect that. We can, as fans, we can respect that. But when you act donkey of the day in your hometown after you miss weight, acted unapologetic about it, right? Then you and your brother acting a fool, trying to confront the man that beat your brother fair and square. Like, this ain't like no gang turf war or something like that, like Bloods and Crips, like, oh, it's on site, blah, blah, blah. This is boxing. He beat your brother in boxing. What are you going in his locker for? What are you going for his locker room for? And I heard Terrence Crawford and Bomac, the trainer of Kelvin, they went to Albright's corner or his locker room after and apologized. It's not Terrence Crawford or Bomac's fault. So they really didn't need, I mean, that's a nice gesture, I guess, but he took a picture with dude. I mean, this is just poor behavior, you know? It's not up to Crawford and Bomac to have to apologize. Where's Keyshawn with the apology and Keon with the apology? I will say fair play to the older brother, Kelvin Davis. From my understanding, I did hear that he was trying to break up the fight instead of instigate it. So he's the one that took the L and got faded, but he wasn't the one initiating this. It was the younger brothers. So the younger brothers have a lot of catching up and growing up to do, because this is not going to land you any new fans and you need to be punished for it. For real, for real. I do have a PSA I want to talk to you guys about. Listen, make no mistake about it. I've always been transparent on my channel. There are a lot of imposters, a lot of people, they're trying to steal the sauce, Boxing Ego sauce, copying my thumbnails, trying to put similar color schemes, color palettes, colorways, copying the titles of my videos, all these kind of things. So I want to ensure that you get my content and get to the right content when there's so many people who try to mimic and make their content appear like Boxing Ego. So on my thumbnails, there's a wolf Boxing Ego logo. It's a circle, it's red, it's a wolf, and it has my stamp. Look for that watermark on my thumbnails while you're on your devices, on your smart TVs, to get to my content. Because again, I'm a popular content creator. People try to steal the sauce. So they try to style their videos, their titles like moi. I want y'all to know that. Now, regarding Keyshawn Davis, like I said, this looks bad on the brand. And the other thing is, Ring, they keep putting Ring ambassador Abdullah Mason reacts to Keyshawn and Albright and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Keyshawn Davis is a ring ambassador as well. But notice in media, that's the other thing. I told you there's a lot of low quality content in this boxing space. You got people trying to copy me and my thumbnails and titles. You got people who are lying, people who don't know about boxing, all these types of things. So Ring, they are very selective. They'll say ring ambassador Abdullah Mason, because Abdullah Mason has nothing to do with this. He just picked up another victory, knockout. Cool. So he's on the good list. But then in the same paragraph, they just put Keyshawn Davis. But he's also a ring ambassador, but they don't want to include him in that. So it makes me wonder, what is Ring going to do about this? What is Top Rank going to do about this? What is the commission going to do about this? Are you allowed to be a ring ambassador and then conduct yourself like Keyshawn has done for the last fight week? This is a horrible fight week. Horrible. He missed weight by a lot, acted like he didn't care. Then him and his brother, after his brother get whooped fair and square in competition, jumped the other dude and put a knot on his head. So you allowed to be a ring ambassador and endorse and represent and get a brand deal off of that? You know what I mean? Something got to give, bro. I can't respect this. I can't respect the move. No shape, no way, no how. I've thought about it. Okay, thought about it. Still want to step. You know what I mean? Okay. Tell her you need a place to stay. You'll be safe for days if you shave your legs with Renee's razor blade. Okay, thought about it? I already thought about it. Nahir Albright, he a G. He just took it. He didn't really complain too much. He was asked about it. He just said what happened. And I seen a couple fools. Y'all only get half a bar. Some fools were like, oh, Albright, he's snitching. How you snitching when the telecast is the one that talked to ESPN exposed it? They showing the tape. This is public knowledge. It didn't have nothing to do with Albright. ESPN is the one like, oh, we got a breaking news story. Yeah. You know what I mean? Y'all, this new generation is trash, bro. They talking about snitching and stuff. And half of them like Tekashi still. Be like, oh, that new song is cool. But now you care about snitching. But anyway, it's not snitching when something is already made available to the public that anybody can see. Telling the truth, that's not snitching when you're just telling what is already announced. You know what I mean? It's not like, and I don't even want to get started because you hear all these celebrity DDG or whatever his name is, and Haley Bailey, you hear, oh, this person slept with this. People putting all types of business out there. So miss me with Albright is a snitch and he revealed too much. Bro, the bottom line is the Davis brothers acted a fool. Donkey of the day status. You let your hometown down. Who knows if Top Rank even want to do another show there if this is how y'all conducting yourself, right? Like hooligans and like you're not even professional. You know what I mean? Very, very disappointing stuff. I've seen people say like, I don't even want to support them. I'm not watching none of their fights. And I always tell y'all, this is what happens when people are chasing Tank Davis. It's like the Tank curse continues. They'll be like, Tank, I want to fight Tank. And they always crash out. And they always have these crash out moments. Ryan Garcia was like, I want a Tank rematch. At least he fought Tank. But he'd be like, I want a rematch. And then he failed a drug test. Then he lose to Rolly, a guy Tank beat. Devin Haney like, Tank. Bill Haney, Tank. Then what happened with them when they fought Ryan Garcia, a guy Tank beat, right? Boom. Devin Haney's career, he didn't look good versus Ramirez. His career never really got on track fully to this point after the Ryan fight, right? Keyshawn, oh, Tank. He's been tricking the boxing game for too long. He make this look good for too long. Like you about to cry, right? And you've been doing this too long, and then you fighting the Albright because your brother can't beat him. Jumping him. Losing your title. I didn't even mention that. You got stripped of your title. Who wants to leave a division and go out like that? Like, your big bro is Terrence Crawford. He ain't never went out like that. Terrence Crawford, he beat Errol Spence. he was undisputed, and basically he left. And if he got stripped, it was because the IBF was like, oh, fight Boots in 2 months or something crazy. Not because he lost his belt on the scale. You know what I mean? So do it the right way. Do it the right way. It's like, you made it all the way here, your first title defense, and this is how you do? You know what I mean? And it's sad because you have a young brother, 3 of them. VA don't get no action in boxing. I don't remember no fights being out there, no major fights. You guys could make that a hotbed. But if you ghettoize it and make it to the point where safety is a concern or tempers flaring, all this goofy stuff, everything I talked about in this video, if you do that, then you squandered it, right? Like, you should be I'm not their older brother, I'm not their daddy, but I know what I know. And I'm not even trying to be preachy. I'm just telling you, like, this new generation need help. You have an opportunity. Keyshawn's a good fighter, an Olympian, blah, blah, blah. You had an opportunity to get stamped and like make put on for your turf. And then, you know what I mean? Make your community a hotbed. But you crashing out your brand, doing all this extra, trying to act tough. Like, bro, what's up with boxers trying to be tough? Like, I'm talking about like street stuff tough. I don't get it. Like, okay, you can fight, but people act like there's plenty of people who can fight that are not here anymore because things escalated beyond fisticuffs, if you know what I mean. So it's like, I don't get the tough guy stuff. Like, why? You have a promising career, you know what I mean? Top rank, they need new stars and stuff like that. Then also, you're Teofimo acting crazy, right? And I want to touch on this. Notice Boxing Ego. I tell y'all, there's a lot of low quality content right here on YouTube, TikTok, social media. A lot of people like false prophets. And when Teofimo act a donkey, when he's the donkey of the day, they talk about it. Teo's racist. He's hurtful to boxing and he don't want to fight Devin and racism, right? They talk about it. You'll see lengthy videos and posts, all this type of stuff. Cool. But right here on this side, the real side, I give Teo the business when he act a fool, but I do it to Keyshawn and Keon and Peon or whatever, all these Davis brothers as well. So it goes to show you I'm the realest in the game, the best in the business, and it's not even close because my mission is boxing. I don't sugarcoat it. If you tripping, I address it and give my thoughts. If this person is tripping, I address it and give my thoughts. You'll notice some people kind of pick and choose and they'll feed Teofimo and Teofimo get treated and get the full service and put in the blender for saying something or allegedly ducking Devin or whatever. What the Davis brothers did is very appalling. Like, I'm not talking about Teo when he on his racist time. That he in his own world with that. But I'm talking about like the Devin Haney fallout. What is crazier for boxing? Teofimo want more money and the Devin Haney fight didn't work because he feels he's being set up and the money ain't right and Devin didn't have a strong performance. Like, that's reasonable. You got content creators who will act like, oh no, he's ducking, and that becomes the biggest thing. What Keyshawn and Keon did, jumping a person for beating your brother fair and square, that needs the same type, if not more, press than other situations. That is the point I'm making. I keep it fair no matter who you are, no matter your color, creed, gender, age, national pride, region. I don't care about none of that. We here to talk boxing, and I give anybody the right treatment, credit if they deserve it, but also if they don't deserve it, you know, I take it there too. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people, they'll make all these issues like Gervonta Davis took a knee. You know what I mean? Why? How it, like, in the priority in the scheme of things, And if we're talking about boxing as an ecosystem, right? What throws off the balance of boxing being a gentleman's sport and being a respected sport and a sport that people would want to watch? Gervonta Davis taking a knee, one fight like Teofimo and Devin Haney don't work out, or Keyshawn and Keon jumping a man because they're upset and emotional and immature and their brother got beat by the man. You know what I mean? For me, these issues can be addressed. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, Tank took a knee. But Tank taking a knee, it was a draw. Lamont Roach didn't get a loss. Tank didn't get a loss. They're about to run it back in a rematch. We good. But that's what I said. There's a lot of false prophets. You'll see a lot of content creators and this bag right here, like kind of insignificant things in the grand scheme of things, right? This gets 5 videos, 18 posts, but then something like this, talk about it for a minute or two, then switch to something else. You know what I mean? Like the game is crazy. The game is crazy. What I witnessed with that is like, I'm still jarred by even hearing that. Like, that's crazy. I've never heard of a time where a scuffle ensued. Like, usually the scuffle is before the fight. If any, like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman, and Lennox Lewis in the ESPN studio, because they was about to fight. So I could dig that. And they both the fighter. You wait till a man is fatigued from 10 rounds of scrapping and whooping your brother and then confront him and go into his locker room and then jump on him and put a knot on his head. That's not right, bro. He didn't deserve that. Like straight up, straight like that. He didn't deserve that, bro. And then ESPN on the telecast, they were like, the Davis brothers have no comment. They don't want to comment. So they could just act a fool, act donkey of the day, and then get away with it. They don't gotta say nothing. They ain't gotta like speak to their actions. I mean, the game is looking crazy right now. That's all I gotta say. We unpacked. Oh, also, before I get out of here, use my affiliate link for StreamYard. StreamYard is how I bring you guys the live streams. Very intuitive, very easy to set up. You can get set up today if you use my link for StreamYard. Get your streaming right, like BOXINGEGO. StreamYard. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.